Alright guys, so in the last video, we thought we were finally going to have the car driving again. We got the engine running again finally. The boost controller hooked up. Finally got the drive shaft off to the shop to get shortened, and then this happened. So, as you can see, the slave cylinder pretty much exploded inside of the bell housing. Now we get to take all of this out because well, as you can see, finally got the engine and the trans out. Should look right here. This right here is where I broke the mounting tab on it, so I gotta get that re-welded. That's what it should look like. There's my short shifter I had to mod. So, had to shorten all the linkage and everything, drive shaft, everything, 3 inches to make up for the trans adapter, as well as how far back everything has to sit in order to not have to cut the subframe right there. Actually, what I think I'm going to do as well, while everything's out, is grind down this back here. This is what the oil pan was catching on, and I'm probably going to need a new oil pan now. Yeah, so that right there, that's what was giving us so much trouble getting this out. You can see where it's cut along in a few other places. Realistically, I'm just gonna need another oil pan. Sucks because they're not cheap. I think that one used, a rear sump, was like $600 or $700. So we finally got the engine and transmission out. I was able to take the transmission up to a shop yesterday, got it back, but before we can start putting things back in, there's a few things we need to take care of now that we got the space to do it. So let's get to it. Alright, so as you guys can see, we got the transmission back. There's the tab that was welded back on. Actually looks pretty good. This is what it looks like from factory. All this white stuff is just oven cleaner that I sprayed on there and just haven't wiped off yet. But before we can get this out of the trunk, we gotta get this in the air so we can use the dolly that's underneath it. This is the Cleveland. Helping build this with Corey. And I'm gonna get this cylinder re-sleeved because of that little pitting hole right there. My guess is it's just from water where it was sitting for so long. I'm assuming that valve was probably open or at least cracked. I was worried about these marks too, but I just noticed they're actually on every cylinder on both sides. So I'm assuming that's actually from the factory. So we're gonna get that cylinder re-sleeved. It's gonna be bored back. These are actually 60 over. So let's get this up and in the air and the transmission out. All right, there we go. We got it in, got that out. Who needs a truck when you got a Mazda to haul everything? Since I got 2 helpers reporting for duty, I need you guys to put this box in that car. Yep. Let's see. All right. High five. All right, guys. Got my helper here. Say hi, Don.
Hi.
All right, so now that we got the Cleveland dropped off at the engine shop, we can finally turn our attention to the E46. Before we put the transmission and engine back in the car, we're gonna go ahead and take care of some of the other stuff, starting with finally mounting our IRP self-centering chassis mount shifter. All right, so it looks like we're gonna have to go underneath the car and just where we have a little bit more room and do a better job of drilling out these holes. So I'm gonna pull these back out, remove the shifter so that doesn't get damaged. You can see we got full range, and once we get an OEM shift boot in there, it should look pretty good. All right, guys, so got a bit of bad news today. I went to drop off the main bearings to the machine shop for the Cleveland, and while I was down there, I figured I'd stop by and check on the drive shaft. Well, found out place can't cut the drive shaft, as it takes too much off and that the flanges won't line up with the rest of the drive shaft. So now I'm without a drive shaft. I'm not going to get the car driving as quickly as we wanted to. Just to catch you guys up, the issue is with the engine mounts and the adapter plate adds length to the back end. So on the drive shaft side of the transmission, it's about 3 inches in total. So in order to make everything fit and not have to cut into the front cross member, the front subframe, I had to cut all the transmission linkage, and the drive shaft, obviously. So you can't use the factory one anymore. I tried getting the factory one cut. The drive shaft shop here says they can't do it. There's not another one near here within like an hour or two. So hopefully I can hear back from one of these other companies and they can help me out with getting the right drive shaft dimensions, right length. Not looking for anything crazy. No carbon fiber, no chromoly. Just simple aluminum single piece drive shaft at this point. But not to slow us down, we're still gonna go ahead. We still aren't ready to put the engine and trans back in anyway. Did pick up some more brake fluid so we can bleed the clutch out. We can, I got some heater hoses, so now I can kind of wire that up or plumb that up to see how that's gonna look so we can retain heat. And then I kind of beat out the transmission tunnel a little bit already. Cleaned up the brake line, as you guys saw. We got the shifter installed. And yeah, now it's just still more of the housekeeping, if you will, with the engine bay. So again, it sucks that I'm not going to have the drive shaft as soon as I want it to, but you know, just more of a chance to do things right and make this car pretty badass still. So, thanks for sticking with me. As you can see, I pretty much have chase bays everything at this point. Got the chase bays brake booster eliminator, chase bays bias valve, chase bays brake line, chase bays adapter for rear brake lines. There's our chase bays clutch fluid line. So yeah, at this point, safe to say I really like chase bays. Alright, so I'm pretty satisfied with how that's routing right now. I don't think it's going to interfere with the steering column at all. I may end up just zip tying this up and out of the way. Or even Alright, so far we got brake line relocated, running back along there. We have the clutch cylinder, or slave cylinder bled. We got the rack and pinion bolted back down. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to run this fuel pressure regulator and fuel line setup. But for the time being, we're just going to keep that up out of the way, somewhere over there. And now we're going to see about doing the heater box. Alright, so I found the rest of the pieces to the heater box. Already started putting some of them in, or trying to figure out how they went. So let's see. I am missing screws though, so I'm going to have to figure out that whole situation. So, sit you guys down and see if I can figure this out. There you go. After a whole lot of struggling, A lot of guessing. Got the air box, or the heater box back in. So one more thing down.